So I have a story about kids, poverty, and the power of the imagination. I've been doing some trash cleanup in my local area, about 6 miles north of here in Titusville. It was the weekend of May, last week in May 2016, and just clean up trash in the hard part of town, the underserved part of town, just trying to make a difference. So as I'm going down the street and there's lots of trash, I got my buckets and everything, I see this kid in the front yard, and the yard's kind of fenced, and actually it's one of the nicer houses, little small ranch style house, and I keep hearing this three. I'm like, oh, what the heck? So I kind of get a little closer, and I notice this little kid is pretending to be shooting baskets into a pretend hoop on his garage. Now it's all behind the fence, so you could kind of tell that, he really wasn't allowed outside the fence. You just got that impression. And he's just like three, and he saw me, and he's, he kind of pounds his chest after he does it. And he'd look at me, and but he didn't really say anything. He didn't say hi, mister, or nothing. He was just doing these 3-pointers, And I kind of stopped for a second, and he really didn't smile much. So, I don't know. I kind of assumed maybe there's something going on, because it was kind of the way he was celebrating was more of like, a real man kind of thing, and not smiling much. And I just said, wow, that's all. I was like, wow. And I said, another 3. I go, you're the 3 king. And he really didn't respond, but he was looking at me when I would say that, and I go, what about layups? And it was just a brief moment, and I kind of realized how, he didn't even have a toy, man. He didn't even have a basketball rim or a basketball. And then it reminded me of when I was in China. Went over to China about 2008. I was kind of thinking about getting married, and I met this girl, and I was going to meet her family, and because family's big, I even took my mom over there to kind of do the thing where you meet the family. And be honest with you, when I got off the plane and I just kind of met her a little bit, and I just knew she wasn't right for me. She was just incredible young lady, and everything, but I was just, I kind of knew. But I kind of went through and tried. I said, don't give up, So at one point we went to meet her sister in one of the big cities in China, and the sister and the family, her husband worked for the railroad and lived right near the tracks, and he was a drinker, and they lived in a small it had a dirt floor, all right? There was no concrete on the floor. It was dirt, man. And they had prepared a meal, and the mother was there, and Yee's mom and the family had gathered, and literally eating, and I think I kind of remember something about the floor where you could just kind of throw stuff on the floor because it was dirt, and they were going to sweep the dirt up later after dinner. So I went into little kids, and there was like only 2 rooms or whatever, 2 or 3 rooms. I think the kid had, and he wanted to show me a toy, and so I go in there, and I can't speak Chinese, but kind of, and the kid had taken a Crest toothpaste box. He had this long, kind of a long toothpaste box, and he had put toothpicks through the front and through the back, and he had paper wheels on it, and it was a toy car. He had made a toy car so that he could have a toy, and I was just kind of blown away. And at that time, I was a lot younger, and I was just, but I was kind of trying to tell the guy, I was smiling, everything. I was just like, man, you're so smart, look, you made this car. And we played with it a little bit I'm pretty sure he had like, not a bed, but something, because we weren't putting it on the ground. I would have remembered that for sure. It wasn't in the sand or the dirt, actually. So he had made this toy car, man, and that's what he played with. So pretty amazing how from where we come sometimes. I don't know who's watching this video or who might watch it or whatever, but just makes you think. Just makes you think, and the power of the imagination, and how children, you know, have this ability to play, and we should retain that as adults, and we should. I think the moral of this story is just, I'm starting to, really try to figure out how you share globally, and I really haven't figured it out. But all right, thanks for watching. Have a super day. Thanks.